In this video, we're going to show you easy tips to start your seeds indoors so that way you can get an early jump on your spring gardening. Welcome back, YouTube gardeners. My name is Sydney from the Naked Gardener channel. If this is your first time to this channel and you're a timid gardener, like to learn different DIY projects that you can use for your gardening, or would even like to learn about the recipes that we use from the vegetables from our urban backyard gardening, then start right now by subscribing to our channel. Make sure you hit the bell icon so that way you can get notified when we upload our videos weekly. After watching this video, you're going to learn easy tips to start your seeds indoors so that way you can get a jump on your spring season for 2019. Now let's get growing. So the first step in starting your seeds indoors is making sure you have a good seed start mix. Now, if you're doing something small like this, all you have to do is go to the big box store and get you a seed start mix. Now, what I normally do is get a large, either a coconut coir or peat moss, and add vermiculite in there and use that as my seed start mix. So that way the roots are able to go through there freely and be good to go. You don't want to get any outdoor soil because you're going to bring outdoor bugs into your house, and you don't want that. Now, once you bring your soil, you want to sterilize it. Now, if you want some ways to learn how to sterilize your soil, I'll put a video up here. We just recently did that, where you can either microwave it, bake it, or just put some boiling water into your seed starting mix. Now, what we want to do is, when you're figuring out what type of seeds that you want, on the back of your seeds, it's going to give you an idea when you want to start your seeds at. However, you want to go to the Farmer's Almanac website and put your zip code in there and find out when's your last frost date. Now, ours is going to be around Good Friday, which is about April 1st, the first week in April. So I'm going to want to put everything out in the ground about the second to third week in April. Now we got some trays out here. I'm going to show you how I normally do our seeds. And so we've got some okra, some Clemson spineless okra, and some red burgundy okra. Now, with your peas, okra, and beans, you want to kind of soak them for at least 30 minutes to an hour. It's optional, but it helps the seeds or the pods to germinate a lot faster. And when you're doing your soil, you want to make sure that's kind of wet as well. Not soaking wet, but at least have some type of moisture to it. So what you normally do, pack your trays up about halfway. That seems good right there. And you want to compact it down. That way it gives your seeds or pods a nice foundation for it, so that way when you fill it back up with more soil, the seeds won't soak all the way down there when you're trying to water it, which we'll talk about later. So we got our seeds right there, which is good. And we're going to start. Let's do these. These are going to be the okra. I'm going to do, let's say, two of these per tray, or per cell. And then once we get that done, you don't have to worry about fertilizing these off the bat, because most seeds have a protective coating on there where the seeds will feed off of that. Okay. So what we do from there, I was wondering where the other seed went to. All right, we'll lightly pack that in there. Actually, we can go these a little bit deeper. We'll go these a little bit deeper. Normally, you don't want to have your seeds go more than 2 times the depth or width, thickness of your seeds. But we'll go about 1/2 inch right there. And we'll take a break right now. And when we come back, all of these will be filled up and go from there. As you can see, we have the seeds already in. We got them compacted and nicely placed. Now, you want to put them in a nice area that's going to be warm in your house. Some people put them up in their closet area, but just you want to make sure your house is around anywhere from 65 to 75 degrees. If you're not able to keep a constant temperature like that, just get you one of these warm seedling mats. Make sure you get a thermostat on there so that way if your house gets a little bit cold, the mat will be able to increase the temperature. If your house gets a little bit too hot, it will make sure it won't turn on the mat to warm up the seeds. But from there, once your seeds start to sprout, that's when you want to do the grow lights. Now with the grow lights, you want to have at least about 5,000 lumens on your lights, so that way it will act as a sunlight on for your plants to reach out to them, because you don't want them to get too leggy, because once you get your plants to get leggy, then it's hard for them to recover once you transplant them out there. Now the way I do my plants is we do this every 2 weeks with the planting, and I'll put a video right here that shows what we're planting for the month of February. And you basically do this at what you call as a succession planting every 2 weeks, putting into there. Then from there you go from watering once you get your seeds all placed in there. Now some people, if you're doing something similar, if you like, for me, my preference is if I'm only going to do one of these, I would probably just spray them down like this. But since we normally do a large portion of these, what you want to do, get you something like this, a gallon jug. Fill your gallon jug up the day prior to that, because that way, once you do it this way, you have the chlorine and all the chemicals evaporate out of your water, so that way it won't decrease or harm your seeds going in there. So what you do is you just fill it up. I normally fill it about a quarter way in there, about right there, same way to there. About a quarter way. And we'll just take one of these out. And we'll do a quarter way from there. Now the way I go by quarter ways is if there's a slots on most of these, that way the water, when you do bottom feed watering, it allows the water to go from the bottom and feed up to the top. If you're spraying, if you're doing a spray from the top, sometimes you might spray too hard and the seeds might get displaced, so I don't like doing that way. After you water it down, you want to also put in a dome. Most of these trays, they come with a plastic clear dome, and that keeps the moisture in. It's almost like a greenhouse effect. It keeps the humidity in there. Very good. Once they start to sprout and gain their true leaves, if you can come and zoom in a little bit, I'll show you a plant with the difference between a true leaf on this plant right here. This is a vintage vine. When it first plants out, you'll have these leaves. After that, you'll have what we call true leaves is right here. Once you get to these leaves, that's when you know it's okay to transplant out into the garden. That's if you are no longer near your last frost date and your soil is anywhere from 55 to 65 degrees. Once your your soil is about 55 to 65 degrees, you want to start hardening off your plants before you transplant them into the ground. How you do that is do it for about a week. How you take for your first day, you take an hour. Your second day, you take about 2 hours. Your third day, you take 3 hours, up to you get to about 6 to 8 hours. Then once you get that, you can be able to plant out in the garden, either to your container garden or your raised bed area. If that seemed real easy, comment down below with Let's Grow Together. Now, if there's a method to your madness, comment down below. We would like to learn from you. And if you have any family, friends, or relatives that would like to learn how to grow and start their seeds indoors, make sure you share this video with them. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification so that way you get alerts when we upload our videos weekly. And as always, let's continue to grow together.